life, sweet life. Sweet life, sweet life.
Because they're actually going to take this hammer and then they're going to break it, and it's going to be a surprise. Hi guys, and welcome back. Today we are going to be making one of the chocolate breakable hearts, and then we're going to make some matching chocolate covered Oreos, and we're going to make almost like a little gift box for like Valentine's Day or anniversary. So today we're going to be using this mold that I got on Amazon. It's a silicone mold for the breakable chocolate heart. It actually came with one of the little, it reminds me of like the thing like to break crabs or something, but a small little hammer. You can buy more hammers because it only came with one. So if you give it away, then you won't have any more. I actually did purchase more of these on Amazon. So you can buy more if you're gonna like offer it as a Valentine's Day special or whatever you're gonna use it for. You can buy more of these. We're gonna be using my Oreo mold, and we're gonna do 4 Oreos to actually match the heart. We're gonna be using red chocolate. We're gonna be using pink chocolate. We're going to be using some gold luster, and this is some pink chocolate coloring that I'm going to use just because this pink is kind of light. So I'm just going to darken it up just a bit with that. We're going to be using coconut oil. As you guys know from my other videos, I use coconut oil to melt down my chocolate. And for my chocolate covered Oreos, I like to use the Oreo Thins. I don't like the regular one. The regular Oreos will fit fine in here, but if you use the double stuffed ones, they'll be too high. I like to use the Oreo Thins just because you get more chocolate on the outside and they fit perfectly. If you do use the double stuffed Oreos, they'll be too high for this mold. So you can use the regular Oreos or the Oreo Thins. I like to use Oreo Thins, but don't use the double stuffed Oreos. They'll be too high because they're just about as high as the tin, so it won't allow you to get too much chocolate around them. Okay, we also have some heart sprinkles that we're going to use. I'm going to use my flower mold and also my letter mold. So let's get started. We're gonna make the heart red. Okay. And I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of coconut oil to melt down my chocolate. And no, it doesn't change the taste of the chocolate at all. It just changes the consistency, which is what we want. It makes it a lot more smooth, and that's why I like to use it. So this is gonna go into the microwave, and I melt my chocolate in increments of 7 to 10 seconds, depending on your microwave. If your microwave has a temperature setting that you can take it down to low, then I would take it down to low. But since mine doesn't and it's on high, I never go over 10 seconds. And I let it go about 3 cycles. And then after the 3rd cycle, when it's still clumpy, I stir it the rest of the way. Okay, so this is what I mean by I let it go until it's clumpy, and then I stir it the rest of the way. So now, into our mold. And we're just trying to fully coat the mold. Okay, so we pretty much got the bottom coated, but now we want to make sure we have the sides coated as well, because all of that chocolate is eventually going to just drop down to the bottom. So we want to make sure that we have these sides coated. And we're actually going to do 2 layers of chocolate. Because you want it to break when they break it with the little hammer. You don't want it to break when you're taking it out of the mold. That would be tragic, right? Okay, so we have the inside coated. We're going to put this into the refrigerator and let it harden up for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to take it out and do another coat. Okay, so while we're waiting on the part to harden, we're going to do the chocolate covered Oreos. So we're going to end up doing 2 red and 2 pink, because the set is going to be red and pink. So okay, so we're going to put a spoonful of chocolate into the bottom of each one. And then we'll just move that around. Make sure the bottom is completely covered. Like so. And then we're gonna let that sit for a little bit. Okay, so we've let them sit for a little bit. Now we're gonna put the cookies in. And like I said, the reason why I like using the thin ones is because you get a nice, good coverage. And I put them in the middle. And then you see how nice they fit in there. If they were the regular ones, they would stick up a bit higher. So I find that the thin Oreos are much easier to cover. So now we're just gonna put like 1.5 spoons of chocolate on top of those. And we're just gonna wiggle those. And I always lift it up to look at the bottom to make sure there's no air bubbles or no holes. I always look under it, because if there is, you can go in with a toothpick and you can get the air bubbles in the hole. And also I give it a good tap. And as you can see, the air bubbles come up to the top and then they bust. So that is the red Oreos. And we're gonna put these in the refrigerator and let these harden up for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna start to melt the pink chocolate so we can make the pink Oreos. And then we can also do the drizzle for the big heart. Now we're gonna melt the pink chocolate the same way we did as the red chocolate, but we don't need as much of the pink chocolate just because we're only doing 2 Oreos and we're only using it to do drizzle. So we don't need to use as much as we use for the red one. So I would say about this much is fine. And we're gonna use coconut oil again. We're not gonna put as much because it's not as much chocolate. And see what I mean by the color? Like they're really light. And I want like a brighter pink, like a more Valentine's Day pink. So we're gonna melt this down, and then we're gonna use some pink chocolate coloring to actually make this pink a little deeper and brighter. So same thing, we're gonna go into the microwave for about 30 seconds, but we're gonna stop every 10 seconds, kind of stir it, and then we'll stir it the rest of the way once it gets to the point that we want it to come to. And then we'll use it to make the 2 extra Oreos, and we're gonna do some drizzle with it as well. So this is what I mean by it's still clumpy, and we just stir it the rest of the way. And like I said, this pink is like really pastel. I mean, if you are going for a really light pastel pink, then of course this will be perfect for you. But I want more of a deeper pink. So I'm gonna go in with some chocolate food coloring. And I'm gonna put a few drops and see where that takes me. And as you can see, it makes it more pink. That's the pink I want. More of a deeper pink. Like a bubblegum pink is what I was going for. So that's what we're going for. Okay, so now that the other 2 have set up, we can start with the pink ones. We're gonna do the same thing. Put a spoon of chocolate in the bottom of each one. And then we're gonna swirl them around. And there's a clump of chocolate in here. I want to take that out just because it'll make your Oreos sit unevenly. And you don't want that. You want your Oreo to sit completely flat. So we're gonna let that sit up for a few minutes. And once that's set up, we will put the Oreos into this one as well. But while we're waiting on this one to set up, we're going to do the second coat of chocolate on the heart. Okay, so our heart has hardened, but we're still gonna do another. The bottom is really thick. It's more of the sides that we're worried about. We don't want the sides to be too thin when we are taking it out of the mold. We kind of want the same consistency all the way around. So that's why we're gonna focus more on the sides on this layer, because the bottom is really thick. And because the heart is cold, this chocolate is melting very fast. I mean, not melting, it is hardening very fast. So you kind of got to work fast. We're basically just making sure the side is just as thick or close to thickness as the bottom, because we know all the chocolate went down to the bottom. And we've made sure that our sides are completely double coated. And this is gonna go back in the fridge for like another 10 minutes. So now that we've let the pink chocolate firm up a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and put our Oreos in there. And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna do the same thing we did with the red chocolate. And we're gonna tap the bottoms Make sure we get all the air bubbles out. We're gonna look under the bottom. Make sure there's no holes, no air bubbles. Tap them. And then these will go into the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes so they'll harden up as well. To decorate our Oreos and our chocolate heart. So I'm going to make some pink roses and some red roses. So just into the mold, we're gonna put some chocolate in each one. And we'll put the red heart on the pink Oreo, and we'll put the pink heart on the red Oreo. And then for the large heart, we'll do pink, a big pink rose. Just gonna tap, same thing, get all the air bubbles out. And then this is also gonna go into the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes. So here I'm just using some white fondant inside the alphabet mold. I just use a knife to scrape off the excess fondant, and that allows me to get a nice clean shape. And then I let them sit for a little bit, and then I pull the shapes out. Okay, so we're gonna use some gold luster and a little bit of vodka. Yes, vodka, the kind that you drink. I always get that question. You don't have to use vodka. You can substitute it for lemon extract if you don't want to use vodka. It does evaporate. It doesn't have a vodka taste or anything, but if you just don't want to use vodka, you can use lemon extract in replace of that. I'm actually going to get a piece of parchment paper to put under this so I don't have to paint my mat. Piece of parchment paper. And that's what I'm going to use to paint the letters gold. Yes, this is a makeup brush. I do use makeup brushes, brand new ones, just because they're just as soft as cake brushes. And you can, a lot of times you can find makeup brushes a lot easier than you can find cake brushes. I like this brush just because you can kind of get every angle at once because it's so fluffy. Whereas if you use a smaller brush, you would actually have to go in between. But this one does a good job getting the different angles. So that's why I like this one for stuff like this. And if I'm gonna paint a large surface. Now, if I'm gonna paint something like a drip or something more detailed, then I will use a smaller brush. But this didn't warrant me to use a smaller brush, so I like to use this one because I can just get all around. And that's our gold letters. Just gonna set these to the side and let them dry for a few minutes. Okay, so now we're gonna put the remaining chocolate in these 2 bags so we can do the drizzle. And I know it looks like it's a little bit of chocolate, but that's literally all you need. That's the red chocolate. We're gonna squeeze all the air out. and just a little bit of pink chocolate. Squeeze the air out, and we're ready to go on to the next step. Okay, so now we have everything out of the fridge. We have our chocolate heart, we have our chocolate flowers, and then we have our Oreos. So we're gonna take our flowers out first. And you literally just push them up and they come right out. So we have a pink rose and we have a red rose. And then we have the large pink rose for the heart. Perfect. And so then we have our Oreos. We're just gonna wiggle this around a little bit and they'll loosen. And they literally just pop out. Okay. So we have our 2 red Oreos and we have our 2 pink Oreos and we have our flour. So for one set, like I said, we are going to, and we'll use the red chocolate just because we have more red chocolate. We're gonna cut just a tiny hole. And right in the middle, oh no, before that, I think I wanna add some gold. So we'll just do some strokes of gold on those. And then we'll take our red chocolate and we'll just put a dot in the middle of each one. And we will put the red heart on the pink one and we'll put the pink heart on the red one. Just like that. So for the pink Oreo, we're gonna do a red drizzle, and then we're gonna do some of the heart sprinkles. So literally, we're just gonna go straight across. And before it dries, we're gonna get those sprinkles on there. Like that. We're actually gonna get the heart out of the mold. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start peeling this back around the sides. And this is why it was important for these sides to be pretty thick. Because if they were too thin, see what happened there? If your sides are too thin, they'll break when you're removing it from the mold. Because your goal is to get it out without breaking it. So you just carefully peel it until it actually pops out. And it did.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no.
Chocolate was a little bit too thin. But this is how it came out. So just make sure when you're doing the sides that you really reinforce your sides. Okay. Now we're going to use the pink chocolate. And I think we're going to put some gold as well. And then we're going to do a small, tiny hole. And we're going to do a drizzle over that gold. And so we'll put some of our pink chocolate and we'll put that there. And then we'll also get some sprinkles on there. And then we're gonna come in and put our letters onto this, and then I'll show you how we put it all together as like a gift set. Okay, so we're gonna get our letters off. And I always, whenever I'm gonna spell out a word, I count how many letters I have, and I always make sure to center it. So break, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. So the middle letter is E. So I'm gonna make sure I put the E directly in the middle. So I will start off by putting the E. And that's how you make sure that it's centered. So the E will go directly in the middle. And then you can work from side to side after that. R. The B. And I'm just putting a few dots of chocolate. And like I said, the K was in 2 pieces. So we're gonna put the line first. And then we'll put the other part of the K. And then me is just 2 letters. So since you already have a line going straight down the middle, I'll just put the M on one side and the E on the other side. You don't have to worry about that because it's only 2 letters. See, I'll just put a few dots. Okay, so now we're gonna turn this all into a nice little gift set. So I'm gonna put the Oreos into these cups just because I think it'll go with the whole theme. We're gonna put some grass in the bottom of this box. Okay, so this is one of those pop-up boxes. It goes like so. And into these hearts, you can put anything. You can put money. You can put candy. You can put anything. You can put mini liquor bottles. You can put whatever, anything you think of. I've seen all kind of things. I've seen engagement rings. I've seen pregnancy announcements. I've seen all kind of things. So you can get really creative with these. I'm just going to show you how to put them together, but you actually can put anything that you want in the actual heart. And so we're going to put the heart in first. Like so. And then we have 4 Oreos. We're also gonna put some other candy in here. And you can do anything. You can put strawberries in here. You can put, like I did, Oreos. And we can't forget we're gonna put the little hammer in here, but we're gonna put some ribbon on it to make it look even fancier. This is just some regular ribbon from the craft store. And we're just gonna tie it into a bow. Just to make the little hammer a little bit more fancy. Like that. And then we're gonna put it inside the box. And like I said, we're gonna add just some candy around it. So I have some gold and red chocolates that we'll just add around it. And so I actually have these gold coins. These would be cute also to put inside the heart. So like I said, you can put anything. You can put these gold chocolate coins. You could put mini liquor bottles. You could put money. You could put a love letter. You can put whatever surprise you want to be up under it, because they're actually going to take this hammer and then they're going to break it, and it's going to be a surprise. That's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
Sweet, sweet.